Well, welcome to Stuart and mine's Thrifting Christmas special, because I have been doing some Christmas shopping this past week. A lot of it, of course, I did at secondhand stores and at thrift stores, and I want you guys to come along for the ride. I want you to see what items I was looking for, what I actually found, and then some prizes that I did not expect to find, but that definitely I needed, or at least I thought I needed. So I want you guys to go along, come along with me, and some of the footage is just a little bit, I didn't do as much of it as I normally do inside the stores because Stuart and I really wanted to be mindful and respective of the other shoppers. Now, I've got lots of really fun things to show you, but this is a little tease because this, and you can see I've still got the tag on. I'm like Minnie Pearl with the tag hanging off. Stuart, you're too young to know who Minnie Pearl is, but this was my best score, and I can't wait to tell you about it, but I've got lots of other things. So Stuart, let's get to it. Sometimes I'm sure Stuart wonders where I come up with my ideas and if they just come out of my little blonde head or if I get inspiration from somewhere else. And like so many of you, oftentimes I get inspiration from magazines, from Pinterest, just from, different visuals that I see, and I think I might be able to replicate them somehow. And this little vignette right here with these soft candy canes, which by the way are my favorite. Stuart loves them, and you can find these at the dollar store. They're kind of hard to find otherwise. I think sometimes I found them at Walmart, but if you find them, buy them because they are difficult to locate. So I saw this image. Stuart, let's put it up on the screen, and it was just this sweet little vignette of these soft serve candy canes. Now in this case, I did not get this stuff at the thrift store. I thrifted my basement because I had lots of these little, not lots, but I had a number of these little tiny pewter pitchers, which I adore, and they have been used for many, many, many things over the years. And then I had this little pewter tray, and I just was so smitten with the charm of this image that I saw on Pinterest that I just decided to replicate it. And it was so easy to do because I immediately identified and deconstructed the components of what was in that vignette. So this is my question of the day. Do you guys do that same thing? Do you see an image and really carefully deconstruct it, looking at it as a still life with its respective components to see how you can put it together and you can recreate it, if not exactly, then in spirit? So this is my first little tableau that I wanted to show you. Well, before I buy new thrift store items, I always check to see if I've got some previously thrifted find that I might press into service in a different way. And in this case, it was this pine cone tree. Now, in past years, I have used it au naturel. In other words, just with berries and greenery. But this year, I wanted to do something a little bit different because I wanted to play up all of these pewter kind of gray cast metallics that I've got on my mantle. So this tree typically would sit flush, and that's how I've used it in the past. But then I thought, look at this, Stuart. It's hollow underneath. Can you see the construction of it? So I don't know if somebody handmade this or they purchased it. And I thought, well, I really want to elevate it and I want it to look like it's a real tree. So what I did was just get a thrifted candle holder and I just set it on top, and it's actually pretty stable. Now, before I did that, I wanted to festivize it just a little bit more. So I took some of these tiny little inexpensive Christmas ornaments and I hot glued them on there. If you look closely, you can see a few strands, gossamer strands of hot glue kind of floating around. And I thought I just like the way they give it a little bit of a brightness, and especially against the rest of the palette, which is kind of neutral and I won't say boring, but let's just say not very vibrant. I thought that would be a real shot of color. And then I had a little Christmas ornament that perfectly matched the colors of these tiny little ornaments. So I thought, since I didn't have a star, why not hang a wreath at the top of your tree? So if you look, when you enter my kitchen, definitely my fireplace is a focal point, and you can see that my tiny little Christmas tree with my inexpensive Trader Joe's boxwoods, which in the past I have hung and kind of framed these plates, but this year I wanted them to be a little bit lower and a little more simple and unadorned. To keep them fresh, one thing you might want to do is soak them in your bathtub as long as overnight. Then let them dry out before you put them into place, and then periodically mist them. Now, yes, mine will dry out probably a little bit faster than, or perhaps faster than yours, because mine are sitting on top of a wood-burning fireplace. But that's okay, because when they start to dry, they no longer look dry, they look preserved. And that's how I maximize and I get the biggest return off my investment. So I've got my battery operated candles in here, and I can have a nice little focal point for my guests when they come in. Now, these are some things that I have had in the past that I kind of resurrected, but let me show you some more of my new finds. Now, it's amazing to me how realistic some of this plastic greenery looks. And I don't know that I need this, but I could see it shaped into a Christmas tree and hung on the wall if you lived in an apartment or something. It is so festive around here. Lots of people doing their Christmas shopping. This is the Goodwill near my house, and they are redoing it, revamping it, remodeling. I'll be curious to see if the prices stay as good as they have been. So far they are, and I have scored a few pieces of clothing. Not really what I came in here for, but nevertheless, I got a few things that I've put in my cart. Whether or not they stay there remains to be seen. And then it's always funny when you run into something that you're 99% sure you donated. So you may be asking, okay, what was on my list before I went into the store? Well, I had a couple of things in mind, maybe three. Number one, I really wanted to find some pretty glass containers that I can gift my Christmas toffee in this year. Some pretty bowls, or just, I don't know, I had something in my head, and I wanted to see if I could find that. I also wanted to see if I could find a shacket. Do you know what a shacket is, Stuart? Okay, it's kind of a new thing. It is a combination of a shirt and a jacket. So I think of them as typically being flannel, or like really heavy, oversized flannel shirt that's heavier than just typical flannel, that might have pockets. And so it not only is a shirt, but it's also a jacket, i.e. a shacket. Now, how do I know about that? Only because I have hip daughters-in-law that tell me. And one of my daughters-in-law wanted a shacket for Christmas, and she sent me a link. So I thought, well, I wonder if I can just find my own version of a shacket at the thrift store. So I was looking for that. I also, in general, one thing I noticed over the holidays is I have a lot of serving pieces that belong to my china, but you can't put them in the dishwasher, and they're a little bit more delicate. And I wanted something that was a little bit more elevated looking, that was pretty in the way of serving pieces, that I could use for mashed potatoes, for green beans, things like that, that were both utilitarian but also were good looking. And I love anything that's footed, whether it's a cake stand, a cupcake stand. I just love things that are footed and slightly elevated, especially if they're a topiary. So those were kind of my broad categories of things that I was looking for. And then if I found anything that I thought my kiddos might like, I was also on the hunt for that. So I went to two different thrift stores. The first one was one I had not been to before. It was a Goodwill I had not been to before. And I really didn't find that many things there. I did find a piece of clothing, which I will show you momentarily. But then I went to my second Goodwill store, the one that is undergoing a renovation. So I need to share, and maybe by the time we post this, Stuart, I'll have the metrics for you, but I read an article, I think it was out of Fortune or Bloomberg News, about just how much the thrifting, buying secondhand, renew, recycle, reuse, what a large component of the economy that now takes up. So many people are on board with that, and I think half of them were at my Goodwill store yesterday that was going through the renovation. There were so many people there. It was very, very festive. It was fun. There was Christmas music. There was families there. It just really had a great environment, and all the employees are always good there and always eager to help. Okay, so while sadly I did not find any kind of glass components that could be encased, like a glass candy jar or nut jar, I did find something else in glass. Yes, this falls into the category of I probably needed this like a hole in the head, but look at these great glass candlesticks that I found. Now you can see they're kind of dirty. I'm going to have to run these through the dishwasher, but they came in a set of 3. This is from IKEA. So you can see right there. So I got these 3 for $11.99, and they came from IKEA. And they had not even been taken out of the box. So I really feel like I got a pretty good deal on them. Now, how will I use them? I think I'm just a sucker for taper candle holders. And I wanted something that was a little bit more, maybe a little bit more contemporary looking, and I think these were. But Stuart, can you imagine if I put some some styrofoam or candle wax or something in there so that I could create a little bobèche of evergreens and berries?
All right, what is a bobèche?
A bobèche, remember, it is that little, well, here we've got one right here. See here?
Oh,
That
yeah.
that captures the dripping wax, but they can also be pretty. They can also be beautifying, because I could make my own bobèche to catch the wax and stuff out of greenery, and I've done that many times before, and it's kind of fun. Sometimes you may have something else that has like a post on it or something. So look how pretty those 3 look together. And then if I added some greenery around them, or I could also do something like use different kind of Christmas bulbs as finials. It would be fun if I had some really massive ones. One year I gave a friend of mine some huge red Christmas ornaments, and I think that would be fun.
I was waving at everybody.
You're waving it. Are you waving at everybody that you can see in the crystal ball, in the glistening ball? So that could be really fun. And I just thought they were good looking, and they'll especially be good looking after I give them a wash. So for $11.99, I thought that was a pretty good deal.
Good deal.
A very good deal, and especially if they've got I've got some really tall, some 20-inch candles, and I think those will be very, very elegant. I'm not sure where I will put them, but nevertheless, they don't take up too much space, so I think that's okay. Okay, so the other thing I told you I was looking for were glass dishes that I could use as serving pieces, but that I could also put into the dishwasher. Okay, so now case in point, I have. The other thing that as a general category I'm always looking for are things that I can set inside other things. So like I set, a glass ornament inside or on top of this candlestick. I also like taking something and using it as a liner. So I previously had gotten these 2 silver bowls, aged silver, or they're not real silver, I'm sure, but silver plated, but that's okay because I love the look. And typically when you see them like this. And I'm going to show you a picture that is from Moss Mountain Farm, P. Allen Smith's home at Moss Mountain Farm, and he had a sideboard in his main hall that had large bowls like this, and they were all filled with citrus. Again, I already had these, but I found this great footed bowl. Now, the price has worn off, but you can see that the tag is still in there, because it's important to me that you believe me. I think, this was $3.99. But in addition to my being able to use it and it looks great like this, I think that's good looking. I also like the fact that it serves as a liner for this metal bowl, for this silver bowl. That way, if I wanted to use this and fill it with flowers, fill it with, maybe something that I'm serving, maybe some kind of dinner item that I'm serving, and I want to use these metal bowls as part of my decor, then I can use this as a liner. Same thing with this smaller silver bowl, which is another category that I always look for when I go to the thrift store, smaller or larger versions of things that are exactly the same shape. What were you going to say,
You could
Stuart?
put like a bunch of peppermints underneath there and have it look kind of cool underneath.
Oh yeah, you could. You could put something, yes, you could. Oh, wow, Stuart, you are getting your creativity groove on. So this one, again, Stuart thinks that's just so, you're so clever, aren't you? So here's, this was another thrift store find. It typically sits in that brass stand over on the sideboard, but again, I can use it in here as a liner. And then it looks like both of these bowls have liners, and I could fill, if I think I have another one someplace else, I could fill all of these with these orange citrus fruits. So I could fill this with clementines, I could fill a smaller one with kumquats, I could fill this one with great big oranges and tuck some greenery in there, and it would be beautiful. And that really matter of pennies to create that, and I loved the way it looked. Okay, so back to what I showed you initially, where sometimes I take a picture and I just try to recreate the still life or the vignette. I saw another still life that I would definitely put into the category of like farmhouse chic, and I saw this picture where they had taken just an enamel bowl. This is just a white enamel bowl. This one was $2.99. I think I got this at the second thrift store, but I love the way it looks. And Stuart, let's put up the picture of what my inspiration image was, because they had it filled with just some little evergreens, not unlike my little spruces that I dug up from outside, but I saw the other day that you can get them at Trader Joe's now, you can get them at Home Depot, and it was just a tiny little forest of 3 evergreens sitting in this bowl, and then it was mulched with apples all around it. And it just looked very country Christmas. It looked really fun. And again, that was just my inspiration picture. So sometimes if I find anything that's enamel, especially if it's enamel in the same color family, I will kind of migrate to it. So that was another good find for not much. And wouldn't that make a really great gift to take to someone in a nursing home or even in the hospital or something, if you could, to give them a little Christmas tableau with miniature Christmas trees in it and maybe the fruit of their choice. Now, the other category of stuff that I'm always looking for or just anything that are just really, really practical. And this is about as practical as you could get. Furniture moving and protection kit that has all of these glides that you put underneath your chairs. These, to me, with my hardwood floors, are absolutely invaluable and indispensable. And this was a whole package of them. And this was $6.49. And if you've ever bought one of these cases or these kits at Lowe's or one of your hardware stores, you know that they can be kind of pricey. So I picked this up in a heartbeat. Now, Stuart, have I missed anything down here? Oh, this is my just little spruce forest that's on my dining room table now. And the little reindeer just looking up adoringly at it. All of these got, I can't remember if I showed this before or not, but they all got a fresh top dressing of beautiful moss and some pine cones. Did you see the little creatures in here, Stuart?
I
Oh, you
just
did?
saw some.
Okay, very good. So I think we need to move upstairs so that now I can show you some of my really great finds and how I'm not only decorating my home, but I'm also decorating myself for the holidays. Okay, before we delve into my thrifted holiday wardrobe, Stuart's been very patient because I'm having trouble moving my mouth today. I wanted to show you these sweet little trees. These are tinsel trees that have become kind of popular, but Stuart, you call them what?
Charlie Brown.
Call them
trees.
little Charlie Brown trees. Well, this one I got thrifted, I think, for just $3 or $4 last year. This one was part of a Christmas gift that someone gave me years ago. But to finish my little triumvirate here, I found this pink one
Perfect.
at the store, at the Goodwill store, for, it was $1.99. And even with its cheap plastic base, I don't care because it's kind of hidden there behind this picture of my mom. So I think it makes for a fun little forest, fairy plum forest in my office, which kind of has plum hues in it. Okay, so, but I digress. So now let's get back to my holiday wardrobe or my winter wardrobe. Okay, so this is a shacket. Now this one really kind of went beyond my expectations because I thought what I'd probably end up finding was something in the men's section that was, you know, maybe be a heavy flannel hunting shirt or something, Stuart, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But I saw this one. I love the gray color. You can kind of obviously liven it up with a pop of color of something underneath, but I love it. And this one has pockets. So I'm wondering if this is like a real shacket, not just a pretend shacket, but it has a vibe and I like it. And wouldn't it be cute with leggings and maybe a black turtleneck or something? I think it would be kind of cute. And so now I too can be hip like my daughter-in-law with my own shacket. So I love this. I think it's cute. I like the buttons on it. I also like the fact that it was $5.99.
Boom.
Heck of a deal. A heck of a deal. So I am going to be curious, Stuart, to see if at my Goodwill, if their prices go up now that they're renovating. It was so busy yesterday. It was so cute, and the workers there had on Santa's hats and stuff. It was definitely a destination. Okay, so that is my first score. Now, before I completely begin channeling Goldie Hawn and the 70s, I want to show you a couple of things. So this is, you guys have seen me wear this on a number of different occasions. I got this at the thrift store last year sometime. I have worn the heck out of this in many different ways. Most recently, I took it to Santa Fe with me. So when I saw this cute little sweater with the flounced sleeves that looked very much like one I just saw at one of my local favorite boutiques, I immediately thought, Stuart, you wanna play Barbie doll dress up? Looky here. Wouldn't that look cute with that?
Yes, it would.
And then I would wear it with these black boots, but it would be equally as cute, I think, with my Dover Saddlery hunting equestrian boots or some hunter boots. I really like it. And I like the kind of, I don't know, I like the femininity of the shoulder detail. And I think that was a little bit popular last year, but I like it this year. And again, I liked the price of $5.89.
Boom.
Boom. Stuart says, boom. Who's the chef that says that?
Oh, Emerald.
Emerald?
Bam. Didn't he say Bam? Not
Bam, a Bam, okay.
Bam.
Now, this, I loved the pattern on this jacket. And I'm really into this kind of Nehru collar, but look at that pattern. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous, Stuart? And this is a lightweight quilted material. And this one can be turned inside out so that you have two different patterns to use. And I don't know, I just really loved it. And I loved the weight of it. Look at it from the back, Stuart. And I could see how you could really jazz this up with some ethnic jewelry, and it would just be wonderful. Now, one of the reasons that I liked it so much is it reminded me of a William Morris pattern. Okay, and I can show you. Let me show you here, Stuart. I can flip through and show some other patterns. William Morris was a poet and an artist and a designer in the second half of the 1800s. Isn't that cool? And he had a thematic that kind of wed both nature with the Middle Ages. And so that's kind of his vibe. But this just seemed to me, it was very reminiscent of, do you see how I kind of thought that? But you know what else it was reminiscent of? And who I thought would like this?
Who's that?
Your mama.
I bet so.
I think it's just her size. It's in some of her favorite colors. I can see it even secured at the top with a brooch. I just think that could be really, really fun.
Very, very.
And I don't really intentionally gift shop at the thrift store, but if I see something that reminds me of someone, by all means, I will get it. But this is another example of something that if it doesn't fit her or she doesn't like it, then either she or I could turn it into a great pillow or something, because the fabric is just so exceptional. What do you think, Stuart? Do you think she'll like that?
Amazing. Yeah, she'll love it.
And it's lightweight enough that you could wear it in the spring, summer, or fall. And I think it would be pretty just, just kind of thrown over your shoulders. I think it'd be pretty with a black turtleneck. What do you think, Stuart?
And the back looks good too. I was looking in the mirror.
Yeah, I really like it, and I think she will like it too. And, of course, because I can never resist telling people what kind of a deal I got. Did I already take? I may have already taken the tag off of this, anticipating that it was going to be a gift, but I think this was also $5.49. So, not that we don't value her far more than a $5.49 gift, but Stuart, nevertheless, I think she'll really like it.
It's about beauty, not price.
That's right. It's the thought that counts. Okay. Now, before we get to my final huge score, Stuart said, "Man, you are just really channeling the 60s." And Goldie Hawn and everything, and the 60s and the 70s. I guess more the 70s, more the 70s. Okay, look at this.
This is what the walls look like in the 70s.
Is that so 70s?
That's cool.
But I think it would be, I think it would be really fun with these boots and with some great Andy, who is the Andy Warhol? Andy Warhol, great Andy Warhol kind of earrings, and I just think it could be really, really fun. You might have to wear some Spanx underneath this or something, or at least wait till your tummy after surgery, the inflammation goes completely down. Isn't that right, Stuart?
Yes, it is.
But then I thought it would be fun to wear it with a jacket and some black boots, and I just think it could be really, really fun. And it could go from winter into spring. So do you approve of that, Stuart, or do you think that's a little goofy?
Good deal.
When you see a fabric, probably the first thing that strikes me when I'm going through, and this one was $8.99, Stuart. But probably one of the first things that strikes me when I go is the pattern or the color. And look, that looks good with this dress, doesn't it, Stuart?
It does. Which reminds me of all those TV sets.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Look at there. What do you think?
Wouldn't even know.
Wouldn't even know. Nope. Multi-purpose. Okay. So now, for the grand finale.
They've been wondering why you got a price tag.
Why I have had a price tag on my dress. First of all, I think this is so fun for the holidays. I think it looks really cute with 70s boots. Who am I channeling? Maybe Meg from Mad Men, or
Oh, wow.
or yeah, Mad Men kind of look.
Absolutely.
But I really like it. As soon as I saw it, I thought it would look fun with some really great big, almost Christmas garish necklace or
did not
earrings
even
and maybe a
notice how,
necklace.
like-
Okay, don't they look?
Kind of loud those were.
Yeah, kind of. That's a nice way to put it, Stuart. Loud, but I love the feeling. I
That is
love
so cool.
the price,
Uh-oh. Neat. Boom.
and I love the fact that this is a Kate Spade dress.
Oh, the big drop.
So even Stuart recognized the name Kate Spade.
Even me.
So I think it was a great score. What drew me to it was the pattern and just this vibrant color, and I really like it. Tell me if you guys think if you guys like it too. And I think it's just really kind of fun.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to show this to my daughter-in-law. So I think I got some pretty good holiday wardrobe items, some pretty good holiday decor items. And please let me know if you have been thrifting, what kind of stuff you have found, and if you too sometimes gift thrift when you go to your local secondhand store.